wasn't recording the first time. Went on for like 5 minutes. Anyway, welcome to week 39 here on The Real DVD Watchers. On Wednesdays, as always, it's me, Tom. And the movie that I have chosen to review today is something that I've only ever seen twice. Not because it's bad or anything like that, just because I'm lazy and I have like shitloads of other movies. But nonetheless, though, it is a good movie. It is very much a cautionary story because it starts off like with a little bit of edge, and then it just flips on the viewer, and it gets to like some really thrilling scenes. Also, it is a very visually stunning movie. Just by how they use light and camera angles, it's so good for someone who wants to be in cinematography. Like it's just great. The movie that I've chosen to review is Hard Candy. Directed by David Slade in 2005, written by Brian Nielsen, starring Patrick Wilson of The Watchmen, and Ellen Page, and everyone knows who Ellen Page is. Basically what this movie is about, it's about this 30-year-old guy named Jeff who meets this 14-year-old girl, Haley, and they've been talking online, you know, kind of teasing each other, so finally they decide to meet at a coffee shop, and there's some really inappropriate things that he says. It's not necessarily like, you know, I want to stick my cock in your vagina or anything like that. But it's kind of like the way how he hits on her. It's kind of creepy because she's so young. Like, for instance, when they first meet, she has like chocolate all along her bottom lip, right? And she holds up like the chocolate thing she's eating. She's like, oh, hey, do you want some? And he goes on her lips and goes, what the fuck? That's totally inappropriate. And so they start talking, you know, and he says like more inappropriate things, but not necessarily, you know, like I want to stick my cock in your vagina or anything like that. But you know, it's just like it's like little things that he says, like, you know, you're really beautiful for a 14-year-old, stuff like that, you know. And it's just like, no, you don't condone these things, no. And so she realizes that he's a photographer, and she's like, well, I want to see some of your stuff. He's like, well, my studio's at my house. And she's like, well, then let's go. And he's like, what? Are you sure? She's like, yeah, sure. So they're walking out, and he's like, are you sure you don't want to call your sister and let her know where you are? She's like, nah, I'll be fine. Right there, I'd be like, no, call your sister. Don't be a dumbass. So they go back to his place, you know, and they're drinking. Right there, underage drinking, hooray! And you know, they're like she's like showing him. Sorry, he's showing her like pictures, stuff like that. They're really talking about stuff, and eventually they just start doing more and more drinks. And Haley's like, why don't you shoot me? And Jeff's like, I don't really want to. She's like, come on, shoot me. So he gets out the camera. Suddenly he starts weaving around, and he starts getting really, really angry because like he's starting to trip out. And all of a sudden, he hits his head off the floor. Wakes up. He's tied to a chair. And Haley's like, I know what you are. I know what you've done. And there are consequences for your actions. And he just thinks like it's just one big joke. And Haley's like, no. You don't get away with what you did. And then it becomes like this torture movie. Not necessarily like gore torture, but just like mentally and physically torture, because there is a castration scene in this movie, and it leads up to a pretty good ending. I think the main question that this movie puts forth is Haley a hero or a villain? Because from the ending, you could really decide for yourself whether or not Haley is a villain or a hero because of her actions. Because in some ways what she did was noble, but then in other ways it's downright diabolical. I think like some of the standalone points in this thing is like how the acting really pushed this movie, because this movie won a couple of awards at, I think, Cannes or the Toronto Film Festival, and it totally deserved it. Like, the acting in this movie is so superb. I mean, Ellen Page, who was literally a no-name when she made this movie, fucking brought it. I mean, she's innocent at times. She's fucking insane at times. But then at other times she has like this almost serial killer-esque quality about her, the way how she speaks, as if she doesn't care. Patrick Wilson, oh my god, the guy just keeps on getting better and better. I mean, this movie alone, too, he's like the perfect creep at times, and yet he plays such an innocent guy, and you truly feel horrible for what he's going through. But it's just great, and it's such a powerful story about molestation and owning up to what you did, and if you need someone to be there to help you own up to it, so be it. It's just a really great movie, and the camera work alone, it's so great. It's like all these like there's a scene where like they're driving up to Jeff's house, and it's in slow motion, and the car's like swerving along the road, and then it's turning like this, and you just see like the rims spin really fast. The car's moving so slowly. Oh, it looks so good. And then like the use of light in some scenes, like where Jeff first wakes up or when he's in the shower, it's really good, and it really makes you think of how people should be using the camera and light to make their movies kind of stand out and have an overall more creepier tone, because you can definitely do that with a movie. A movie can be so creepy just based on your visuals alone. So, for me, this is why Hard Candy is a really great movie. A compelling story, and at times truly disturbing. It is a great movie. I highly recommend you guys check this out. If I had to give this movie a rating out of 10, I'd probably give it like a 6 or 6.5. There is a little bit of cliches in there, but it is better than the average movie, just because of the acting. The acting is really what sells it. Like, if you would have had like 2 other people in these roles, I don't think this movie would have been that great, especially Ellen Page's role, because she just knocks it out of the park. So, that was the review. Thanks to everyone who watches. Matt is up tomorrow, and I guess I'll see you guys in a week's time. Later.